Denise John, the blanket exercise. Well, I started with helping Debbie probably just this year, and we did a blanket exercise at different departments. Some of the departments was natural resources, St. Mary's. We also did with the Justice Department. The ones I found was really good to have was the one that worked with the police and legal aid. We did one with the Avalon Sexual Assault Center. And there's many others that was done without me, like she had someone else to help her with, but basically it's blanket exercise is to help individuals that are participating to kind of know the history of Indigenous people, and that's something that's important because we don't see a lot the truth out there, and I think this is a good way of doing that. It's a very powerful exercise that a person is walking in, like I said, the moccasins of an Aboriginal person, and it's bringing out a lot of emotions in a lot of people. They're affected by it because they're hearing the truth through a very, like it's an hour, 2 hour long education and through centuries, and to give that very powerful exercise is something that's I'm happy to be part of. The aim of it is by using blankets to represent land, and then each participant would get on the blankets, and as they're given a script, they're given cards, and we read from the script, and it gives like a timeline, and we talk about the proper definition of like First Nations. We talk about the Indian Act, the treaty, because a lot of people don't understand how important that is to our people. So, and that is a key thing in the blanket exercise is you're getting everything from when it starts to how we used to be before colonization, before contact with Europeans. Like we walked the country, in the canoes, the land was plentiful, and we respected the land, and there was a peace between other tribes, and we would gather food, everything was maintained on the land. They were immersing their culture was the root of a community, so that was important. And then it gets into where the contact, and it goes from there, and I think it's essential to have that done in all HRM, because they're working with Indigenous communities. In my role as in the Friendship Center, that education is key because we're trying to bridge that gap between Indigenous community and non-Indigenous community, and the blanket exercise is a prime example we use this to that education. It's getting diversity of people coming together. We have people like police, we have lawyers, judges. We also have individuals like with natural resources, students, these law students. The most success I find is when we're reading the script, I watch the people, and you can see the reaction, in certain parts of the script. And when we do the talking circle and we hear what everyone says, the most powerful thing is how emotional they have, that emotion attached to it. And that's a success because they're gonna, and he says there, that they'll tell other people they should take part in the blanket exercise. And I think that's getting the word out. And there's been recommendations being in the school. It's not done enough in our schools. And that's, I think that's needs more to be, and that's lacking because they don't have to, it's not part of the curriculum in the schools, and I think that should be part of the curriculum. So that's, maybe we'll see more of that. Maybe we'll see the school boards to get on board with that, and I'm hopeful. I guess from my point of view is it's our truth, it's our life, it's our history. And when we talk about residential school, for example, a lot of people did not know, that residential school existed here in Nova Scotia. When we do these exercises, it's talking a lot about that. And I think it's reconciliation, it's working towards that. And our education, I think, is about who we are as a people. And, people understand about who we are instead of, we being racialized or discriminated. So I think it's something that's fundamental in society that we need to do more of. And I'm hoping more people get on board with it, because there's a lot of animosity towards Indigenous people now. And we're trying to do these exercises as a way of educating and also working together, in partnership, and that's important. Be open-minded is a big thing, because I think people just have their opinion, but be open-minded, open your mind and heart. And that's what I tell in those circles, is be open-minded to learning about our history and take part, in as Debbie was saying, that teaching moment. You hear people talking, the wrong facts or history. If you know that about, the truth, be that person, and teaching them the true history. And I think we all have a responsibility, not only Indigenous community, but non-Indigenous community. Talking to our elders, talking to the communities alone is, we have a lot of community members that are in education, that are in law, that are doctors, who are professionals like in the military, Navy. Talk to those elders, get the history. Talk to, and a lot of our young people know the history too. Involving elders and youth, having that dialogue in the communities, in different areas. I think it will be a good start. Yeah.